Hello there friends, today we have a very special imbalance complaint sent in by Lecrae. It only has 3 words. Upgrades are IMBA. The imbalance race is Terran, the server this was played on is Europe, and the league is bronze with no MMR stated. Instead it says never played, I am bad, ASF. And that's all the information we have. Some people in life, when they have a midlife crisis, they'll buy a motorcycle or they go skydiving, do something risky. I also decided to take a risk, and that risk is on this replay. I honestly stopped doing bronze replays a very long time ago because 99% of the time they're very boring and they're also very long. This complaint form, however, it piqued my interest. Just 3 words, upgrades are IMBA. The fact that it's a mirror match, which I can't actually ever recall doing in the 4 or 5 years that I've been doing Is It IMBA or Do I Suck? A mirror match, which I can't actually ever recall doing. So this better be a special one. This better be a special one. We have Lecrae, who sent in this replay. Doesn't believe that he has an MMR. Of course, he does have an MMR. He's just not aware of it. Maybe he doesn't know where to find it in his profile. Fighting against Axel's Zone, a Terran versus Terran. Both players here opening up with, honestly, Lecrae actually opening up with something that almost resembles a build order. It is a 1-gas expansion. Yes, we forgot the orbital command, but we have a wall. We have a reactor first. This honestly could have been much worse. On the other side, we have Axel Zahn, who is opening up with a bunker, as well as a marine. No orbital command either, and a delayed command center. So far, my money is going to be on Lecrae. Although Lecrae is the person who did send in this replay, and those people always lose. So perhaps a bad person to put your money on, if you know they're going to lose. Either way, we have the orbitals now coming down for both players here at the same time, as the SCV is set on a scouting pattern over here. Tech Lab coming down for Exelzon, so we're expecting some type of stim, maybe some combat shield, maybe some marauders, maybe some early action as well. And boy, am I looking forward to this game.
Harstem said, unknowing of the minutes of emptiness ahead of him in this replay.
All right, and after nothing happening for the first 6 minutes here in this game, we're actually going to see our first move out, and it's going to be with the Pure Marine. 0 upgrades, no eBay, no nothing. 85 supply or 83 supply against 55. We have a scan making sure there is no third base over here. Did get that confirmation. What does Axel Zahn have defensively? We have a bunker. Do we have another scan coming in? Who's scanning here? Okay, double scans. Double scans here. We have 1 battlecruiser out for Axel Zahn. We have 2 starports, which are pumping more BCs. And here comes the army. This is going to be a very tough nut to crack, because it's 30 Marines with both stim and combat shield, and the only defensive unit is a Hellion, which, although powerful, probably not powerful enough. Okay, 2 more Hellions show up with the blue flame, do get a couple of kills. Battlecruiser still idling, doesn't want to show himself quite yet. This starport is now under attack. Might actually get targeted down before this BC ends up finishing here, and that's going to be a big sad moment here for Axel Zahn, who's also going to lose his... No! You have a big move command. Oh, the BC... the BC finally teleported across the map. And as a response here, Lecrae, rather than finishing his opponent's entire main base, decides that the best course of action is to walk back home with all of his Marines, which is an interesting call. Guaranteed to be the wrong call. But an interesting call nonetheless. We have 4 emergency barracks now being planted down. 2nd battlecruiser, I think, also teleported across the map. Yes, it's in the main base. There's a lot of Mu energy available for both players, but honestly mainly for Lecrae. More Marines popping out. Don't have any Vikings in production quite yet, but the starport did pop onto the reactor. So I'm expecting Vikings, although medevacs are also fine to heal these Marines. We have a stim available, we can use it, and there we go. Indeed, Marines that came back home are not actually massively winning this fight. They're actually kind of getting destroyed here by these 2 BCs, and the 2 BCs are now realizing that as well. Gonna go back in. Single BC being split off to deal with the Marines while the other BC was idling and attacking the starport a little longer. Okay, Marines still going down. I don't think you can actually win this fight, to be honest. We get another stim coming in here as well. And I do believe that that's going to be it. Both BCs will fall. Worker supply after this, surprisingly even. 43 Marines have gone down so far. I still believe that if Lecrae had stayed in his opponent's main base, eventually reinforcements would have killed that one BC that was there, and Lecrae would have killed every single worker that had ever existed. But this made the game a lot more exciting and almost making me forget about the terrible early game that I watched. That hopefully Hamster cut out for you guys, because the first 6 minutes was absolutely nothing. We have 2 more battle cruisers on the way. The next Marine push coming in is once again going to find very little defenses, but these Marines are also fairly butchered already. I hear another scan. Okay, it's going to go into this main base here. Wait, who's scanning? Okay, that was Lecrae scanning, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Lecrae scanning. Okay, we have another scan up top. Second Hellion arrives, sees that. Should be aware of the fact that battle cruisers could be around. Axelson scans. I'm not sure if Axelson thinks that you need vision before you can teleport. No, because he teleports to the third base. There are a couple of Vikings over there. 2 Vikings ready. I'm not sure if they were waiting for these BCs, but they were in the perfect position. First BC most likely is going to fall in a very short amount of time. So the Vikings are going to end up chasing, well, kind of chasing it. Marines also trying to chase. Marine count is still 27. A lot of them still moving across the map as well. I'm not sure if that is on purpose. I think that is just a bad rally point at this point. So we have more stim Marines coming in. Vikings still alive. It's actually dishing out a lot of damage. The battlecruiser enters the main base right now. Could use the Yamato cannon here on the Viking. Instead it's just going to right click it and kill it. So instead it's going to... That's a first. That's a first. I don't think I've ever seen a Yamato cannon being used on a Marine before. And especially not on a Marine that already had used 3 stims. That Marine had no HP remaining anymore. I am 100% sure that right-clicking that Marine would have killed it faster than the Yamato would have. But I appreciate it anyways. Lecrae is now pumping more Marines across the map and once again has his opponent pretty much by the throat. I don't understand how this is ever going to go wrong for Lecrae. Lecrae sees a Viking fly across the map. Oh no, another BC teleported. We have the exact same scenario here. This is like watching an AI play almost. You know, we get a threat, we move everything back, or we chase it. If you harass like an AI with a probe and you put an attack move on one of their workers, 2 or 3 workers will pull off the line and start following your worker around. And you can reset that move again and again. It feels like that's kind of what I'm watching here. Except you're doing it just with a battle cruiser and you're forcing the entire army back every single time. Like, that was tight because there was really nothing here. I thought we were building a tank out of this, but we're actually just building Hellions one at a time out of a factory with a tech lab. That is lovely to see. This battlecruiser is going to end up falling. I love that we're building Vikings again as well. That is definitely a good call. It's going to allow you to clear battlecruisers a little easier. Oh, this BC is going to fly across the map. There are a couple of Marines ready, as well as these 2 Vikings. You have 4 Vikings now in production and 2 more starport. I mean, eco-wise, I definitely prefer Lecrae's position. Honestly, army composition-wise, I also prefer Lecrae's position. Infrastructure-wise, I prefer Lecrae's position. Neither player, by the way, has made any upgrades yet. Yeah, that is just something we need to keep in mind. There weren't a whole lot of words in the imbalance complaint form, but the word that were there were complaining about upgrades specifically. So I'm surprised to not see any yet in the first 12 minutes of the game. At higher level, perhaps we would see 3-3 starting now, or 3-3 about to finish, depending on the matchup. Do have 2 more BCs on the way. Viking plus Marine staying at home, and a small Marine force of about, what is this, 30-ish? 25 Marines moving across the map. Should be capable of clearing this, although 4 Hellions with Blue Flame. You don't have a nice concave. These Marines could actually be in some trouble. Okay, we're going to get a scan. I hope we're getting a stim as well. Okay, it's the first Hellion going down. Hellion's now pulling back. Now Hellion's going in. It's actually going to clear this, and I hope the BCs are still at home, rather than teleporting. Okay. Could have tried clearing this, but I guess the Marines are going to be good enough. Instead, we get a straight teleport into 12 Vikings. That is an interesting maneuver. into 12 Vikings as well as about 50 Marines. And to me it feels like Axel Zahn at this point has lost. I'm struggling seeing a way forward here. He has lost his ability to counterattack, although we have another battlecruiser, so perhaps the next attack move is gonna do it. Lecrae once again moving across the map here with, well, what is this, freaking 50 Marines? A little less, 40-ish or so. Viking still at home, so doesn't even need to move command all of his Marines back once we see this battlecruiser inevitably teleport into the third base location or into the main base location. Have a lot of mules, by the way, available. Just every single mule is available right now. They're all waiting to be called in. Every last one. Meanwhile, defensively, we have a couple of Marines without stim, without combat shield, and these Hellions as well. I feel like 2 tanks would solve a lot of issues here for Axel Zahn, our blue Terran player. Third base, I think, hasn't quite been spotted yet either. Perhaps now you can chase these SCVs and get a kill or 2 there. Yeah, gonna scan the high ground. Lovely to see. This is such a keen battlecruiser teleporting across the map moment. If I know my Axel, if I know what Axel likes to do, then this would definitely be a battlecruiser teleport moment. But I guess he is a mysterious man after all. He's gonna keep them at home, loses all of his Hellions and Marines. So far, Lecrae in a dominating position. Neither player started an eBay. Oh, actually, no, we have eBays. We just have no upgrades yet. Gonna get a couple of Yamatos here on the Marines, of course. It's a good way of dealing with Marines. Battlecruisers actually trading relatively well against this Marine force because battlecruisers have very good armor, even without upgrades. Gonna get a repair here as well. That could actually keep them alive. It's gonna be close, but barely. No, this BC is going to clean everything up. But a lot of SCVs went down. We only have 2 bases left right now versus the 4, soon to be 4 bases for Lecrae. Problem though is that Axel Zahn still has a lot of cash in the bank. So although the eco is worse, he still, you know, he can spend his bank right now. He can use his bank for something else. Build a bunch of barracks here with tech labs. We have 6 barracks with tech lab, stim, combat shield, concussive shell, and 1-1 on the way. And here come the first upgrades. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got him. 15 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. Our first set of upgrades starts. Meanwhile, Lecrae has lost 170 Marines and 6 Vikings. Is well set up to deal with any potential battlecruisers. Future battlecruisers. Can we get a new third base perhaps? Or is that a luxury? Third bases don't really need them. You really need his upgrades. Just spent all of his cash, by the way, which is relatively quickly. Still no third base. We have a lot of gas in the bank. Love the priority on the gas here as well. Make sure that we get those refineries pumping. Minerals for idiots. It's definitely, yeah, it's third base time. I could feel it already. I could feel it. I was loving this Sim City, by the way. Straight lines all around. Look at that. Bam, what's that? 5 barracks in a row. Freaking 9 or 8, what's that? 8 depots, looking solid. Get the scan. Unfortunate. There's no chance this is getting cancelled. There's absolutely 0 chance that this is getting cancelled. Actually, negative. Oh. Yamato's going down again. Marines falling quickly against the fat cannons as the Marauders also getting kind of blasted. It's wild to build Marauders against someone that's messing Marines. The Marauder kind of gets destroyed by the Marine usually. Battlecruiser is actually doing majority of the work. Vikings would be very helpful to have, but Lecrae has been bitten by the battlecruiser too many times. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna go over anymore and try petting it. It's like a crazy dog. You know, you get bitten once, it's like, maybe my hand smelled bad, but you get bitten twice. It's probably not your hand, unless you didn't wash. You know, you probably got to be more careful around that dog then. It's the same here. It's like, okay, I'm keeping those Vikings at home in case we're going to get another teleport across the map. You could, of course, go for the revolutionary play of splitting these Vikings. Oh, well, a lot of mules dropping down right now. Lovely to see. It's going to boost that income. Technically, Lecrae doesn't really need to attack. But technically, Lecrae also is so far ahead that he could attack. So, really, any move here is good as long as he continues building units with the freaking 8 barracks with reactors that he has. Well, I guess 6 barracks with reactors and 2 with tech labs. Lovely to see. Fantastic game so far. Armory now coming down, so we're continuing our upgrades. And I actually can see which road this is going down, slowly but surely. This is a very slow slow, long, and windy road. And because Axelson is taking his sweet time with the upgrades. But I can imagine a world in which Axelson ends up with 3-3 upgrades versus 0-0 Marines. And in that case, these Marauders, they might actually have something to say in these fights. Okay, once again, pure Marine moving across. No medevac, no upgrades, no Vikings here. It's going to target down, well, the battle cruiser. So the highest HP unit. It's an interesting move with a lot of armor. And as a result, Axelson actually is going to hold this. Will lose a bunch of his medevacs. This was a surprisingly good fight. Resources lost. Very even right now. We have 263 Marines that have fallen in this game. We're 5 bases versus 3. But the 3 bases have a worker count of 25, which is barely enough to mine from a single base. So, actually, it isn't. Yeah, no, it is enough. 25 is enough. Never mind. 25 is a good number to mine with from a single base. Okay, our next wave of Marines comes in, and I think at this point, really, what you want to be doing is just stimming and winning, right? You stim, kill these 3 Marauders, go into the natural, win the game, or you don't. Maybe get some e-base as well. Let's not forget that Axelson at this point hasn't really continued his own upgrades either. Does have the money available for it. So we're going to get a right click here on the battle cruiser. Planetary also got, I think, 1 shot in there. He's going to get another shot in. I think nothing died here for Axelson. Maybe like 1 or 2 Marauders. Killed a bunch more Marines, about 20, 25. But Lecrae realizes that he has such good eco that this is probably a somewhat viable plan for the future. And is going to continue with this. We have another wave of Marines, like a freaking AI, man. I'm telling you. Now he's learning slowly but surely about the tank. So he constructs his first one. His opponent, Axel, also here with his... I think I saw the first tank, right? Yeah, first tank is here as well. So now we have the battle cruiser kind of as the bait, as the magnet. Look, Kyle. And the tank there in the back with the splash. We scan. We analyze the situation. Please tell me that we're not going in. You know it would be sick? If after the scan moves away, he just runs in. Pretending that it doesn't exist anymore. Like the kid holding his hands in front of his face. Monsters ain't real if you can't see them. Please tell me he's not actually going to run to this tank. And if he does, please let him take this path. And not the path the long way around. Come on, Lecrae. Let's make a move. Okay, we have an armor upgrade coming in here for Axel. Lecrae now maxed out. Don't forget, we still have all these Vikings at home as well. Could still move across the map. I think they've just been forgotten about altogether. Okay, here come the Marines. Gets shot twice at by this tank. He's going to move around. That's a smart play. Yeah, he's going to snipe this tank. That's beautiful. Yeah, this is what I like. Oh, gets the stim in. He's going to get the snipe on this tank. Doesn't have any medevacs here, so probably we'll feel kind of compelled to attack into this right now. Planetary is going to dish out some serious damage as Marauders doing the exact same thing. Concussive shells actually helping out here. We could stim away, or we could fight, or we could do neither. Just kind of stand around, waiting for our next wave to go in. Good lord. 345 Marines have fallen so far in this game. That has lasted 21 minutes and 47 seconds. And I can't quite recall seeing a game quite like this before. I just can't recall a game like this. We're going to have a rotation here coming out of Lecrae, a wild move. Decides to attack a different area. Walks past the 4th base, straight into the 5th. Is going to clear that without any serious issues. More Marines now moving across. This actually could be a problem here for Axel, who only has 1-1 upgrades and doesn't also seem to know a whole lot about unit counters, as Marauders definitely are not the counter to Marines usually, but perhaps with superior upgrades and a good concave, the help of medevacs could actually win this fight. Not sure how cost efficient that was. Probably not greatly cost efficient here for Axel, because that was just a pure Marine army. Lecrae, of course, is another backup. I am struggling to see how Lecrae is going to lose this. We have 1 tank here. We have about 8-9 Marauders. We're going to have a 2nd tank. At this point, every single battlecruiser has fallen. There's still 15 Vikings. These Vikings have been here for a long time. Vikings could land on top of the tanks. Vikings could land in the main base. Vikings could kill every medevac that will be built ever again in the future, as there's legitimately 0 anti-air. A single Banshee could win the game right now.
Of course, no Banshees were built this game.
Alright, we have our next attack. It took a while, but we have it. The Vikings are even joining the march. That is lovely to see here. And the first upgrade's actually starting for Lecrae as well. So Lecrae has realized that eBays are something that he can build. Now scans forward, sees the complete lack of anti-air. As a man with a huge brain, surely could send these Vikings forward to kill the medevacs. Use the Vikings as a spotter to gain vision over his opponent's tanks. Oh, this is a good fight. Oh, this is going to be a banging fight here. Holy crap. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is a massacre. Axel in some serious trouble right now. Repair, 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 repair. No? Okay, no need, because apparently Lecrae decides it's time to move back. I didn't love the move, but, you know, if you commit to it, you might as well finish the job. If that's what you want to be doing, then... You know, do it right and clear that planetary. I don't think Axel was going to pull workers in time. We have 6 more Marauders on the way, plus 3 armor. I love those going for the armor upgrades first. A cool move against this heavy marine force. We already have 2-2 coming out as well, though, for Lecrae. So Lecrae quickly catching up. 25 minutes in, plus 2 now starting. As I think it was like 15 minutes or so, I said, right, when Axel started his upgrade. So he's been slacking a little bit with the continuity of that. As we have one of the slowest leapfrogging... Well, it's not really a leapfrogging tank. I think this tank actually moved back. It's still the same location. It's a static tank attack. It's not really attacking anything. Maybe he's waiting for Axel to move into his tank position, which is a play that I could potentially see pay off, but hasn't quite yet. We have a couple more tanks now coming in, 3 to be exact. We have another scan forward. I think this is one of my favorite things. It's just the continuous scanning out of both players. Especially given the fact that Lecrae has had air dominance versus 0 anti-air units for the past 8 or 9 minutes or so. Even when the BCs were around, he already had complete air dominance. Like complete air dominance. It's gonna send them... Okay. Try explaining that to the Marines family. We had full vision with scans. We had full vision with air. And then we sent in James. Just to test if the planetary still worked. Sir, we discovered there are landmines. All right, send in James. What? It's a wild move. It's a wild move. Both players still scanning each other actively. We have 1 tank versus, I think it's 4 right now. Yeah, 4. Vehicle weapon level 2. He's actually getting better upgrades at this point. Maybe he's complaining about him winning? That would be very sad. Because I don't upload those games. So you know already, if you're seeing this, is that Lecrae somehow is going to end up losing. We just don't know how yet. Oh, that's a leapfrog. I think it took him 3 minutes to move forward with those tanks. And I love that he's doing it completely blind. He's been scanning the entire time, but the moment he's moving the tanks forward, that's the one moment we don't want any vision anymore. Single tank attacking right now. Still, by the way, 0 anti-air. This is 49 Marauders and 2 tanks. Could move another tank forward to perhaps deal with this. Could move all 3 forward. Would love to get some vision here with a Viking. Oh, we get a scan. I think it's planetary's toast now, isn't it? Isn't this just in range, though? This feels in range, no? The tank's food is in range. Yeah, I was gonna say, the tank's food is in range. He's gonna instantly rebuild as well. That's a ballsy move that I haven't quite seen before. No cancel. Axel at this point is defending with 2 tanks himself. No upgrades on that. As well as 59 Marauders. Don't forget, nothing to deal with these Vikings. Nothing yet, at least. Not a single Marine is out. 3 tanks. Okay, Marauders now coming in with a flank. No, just some scans. Both players just kind of moving around. Lecrae, however, is moving around in his opponent's tank fire. That's an interesting move that so far isn't paying off. 452 Marines have fallen in this game. We had 7.7k still in the bank. I'm excited to see how many more will fall in this particular game. Surely we're gonna get a scan. Yeah. All right. It's finally gonna get cleaned up though, as these 2-2 Marines will clean the final tanks. As we see Axel's on with a stim across the map and is going to run around. Let's see, Lecrae, does he accept the base trade finally? I think this is the one time you maybe don't want to. I don't completely mind it. It's not the end of the world to go for a base trade here. I mean, you still have more money, you have a lot of production. An important factor here is also the fact that there's no anti-air, which means that you can float all of your buildings, and there's legit nothing that Axel can do. That's perhaps a small oversight on Axel's part, the fact that buildings can fly. Axel does seem to be aware of that because he's flying his own building towards, I think, the right side corner this is going. So he's going to maybe try to go for a full-on base trade. If Axel's plan here is to hope that his opponent forgets that buildings can float, then I really respect that, because I think that's a very cool plan. Because that is a plan that should not be working. That is a plan that should not be working ever. I mean, also Lecrae just has more units and more buildings. So there's legitimately no way that Axel can ever win in a proper base trade. Like, because of the floating, but also because I think they're going to fight at some point. And I don't really see how Axel can ever win a fight. There is a tank here. There's 15 Vikings, which can clear the medevacs ahead of time. Upgrades are even enough, and we have +2 vehicle weapons. I think the tank is going to help out a lot there. I can probably also still morph this into a planetary. No, we don't actually have an eBay available. Oh, that's an issue. However, we still do have some of these. Would love to see some depots. Yeah, there we go. I got a bunch of depots out here. Some barracks as well. Would love to see some factories. I think tanks are going to be absolutely key at this point. As the orbital has scouted the barracks, that means that the barracks most likely also have scouted this orbital. Both players now aware of that fact. Axel is going to continue his rampage into his opponent's main base, who hasn't quite discovered the floating hotkey, or the fact in general that buildings can float. He's going to take out every single refinery, every single orbital command he walks across. This depot is going to fall as well. So will these starports. Once again, Vikings at any point can take out these medevacs. Vikings at any point can also just take out the final command center, and then the tech lab plus depot are really the only structures remaining here that Lecrae needs to take care of. 59 Marauders to 81 Marines and 1 tank. 15 Vikings on top of that. Tank is in the army. So what you can do right now is just keep your opponent set up here, no? So you move forward with the Vikings, make sure you have a concave, and then you can never lose. You can also land the Vikings after you clear these. 59 Marauders against 81 Marines, plus tank. I'm not actually sure who wins that, to be honest. But I think we're about to, unless we can get drops. Ooh, I like that. Imagine like a double medevac drop going here. The tank will stay behind because it's not going to get on siege. You clear the tank, you fly away. We have some scans coming out right now, looking for the final bases. Like, that's weird. Forgetting about this. What about the APM is right now? 92 average versus 67. Neither player really doing a whole lot. Scans. Sees this army. That looks big, doesn't it? I love that we're only building a depot at a time as well on Lecrae's side of things. Okay, we have another scan. Oh, Marines out of position. Here comes the snipe on the tank, as all of these Marauders are going to get down the ramp. Very good concave as well for the Marauders. Half of the Marines not shooting. Vikings going to clear every single last medevac. But the Vikings still can win the game here. Marines can pick up at any point as well. Vikings can just take out this orbital command and be fine. We have Marine production behind it again. There are no reactors. We have these lines of depots once more. As the Vikings still by themselves can win at any point. There's only 3 buildings remaining. And also, at least you have a draw if you just float any building at this point. Although there's still one SCV. So you can build depots and then mine with mules. Technically. He lands the Vikings. Doesn't land all of them, so... No, it does land all of them. This wasn't quite the ending that I had expected. He lands all Vikings, rather than scouting for his opponent's final base, doesn't lift any of the CCs, and doesn't run away with the SCVs. I think his MMR guess might actually be accurate. I don't think I've ever seen an ending like this in my entire life. He lost 526 Marines, he killed 13 BCs, 104 Marauders, and he complained about the upgrades after this game. Honestly, I kind of want to grant it to him just to make him feel better, because this must be rough. It doesn't even make any sense, because both players had similar upgrades. He actually had better upgrades because he had +2 vehicle. I don't even really know how to summarize this game, because so much happened that made no sense. Usually there's like 4 or 5 things and we make a nice summary and we cut everything in a row. Here the super cut is going to last 15 minutes. Like the summary is half the game. There were so many highlights here. I don't even know what to take. I think the biggest highlight for me is just the 0 lifts on the buildings. The ability to die while floating like 18k or 19k resources. Like, I don't think upgrades are imbalanced, and if they were, it would be in your favor. So, you suck, I guess. That's it. That's it. This is the last time I'm taking a chance on a bronze game. That's for sure. Thanks all for watching. If you sat through this entire, 30-ish minutes or so, if you did enjoy this, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully we'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye-bye.